the multi-talented person who, by God's grace, has figured out what she's supposed to do, yet cannot stop asking the questions like, how will these things be? It feels overwhelming. Is this even possible? It's more like, okay, I get it. I get that I have to do this and this, but the how, and I know that we can pray, but this is becoming her, and on becoming her, we share unfiltered experiences, right? If you're watching this for the first time, you think that I don't greet people and I don't introduce myself. I do that. You should watch the first 2 videos to know that I actually do that. So I'm going to do that now. Hello, my name is Hananiel, and you are welcome to the journey of my becoming. I think this is where I introduce the YouTube intro and then I go back to talking. All right, this is what happens. Well, I'm going to insert the YouTube intro now. Welcome back. 3 months ago, when I was planning my YouTube journey, I did not think that my 3rd video would look like this. And by that I mean, by the way, have you noticed the background? We'll talk about that later. But this is August 29, and I'm showing up because I owe myself consistency. However, I don't think that I was ready to record the way I planned it 3 months ago. You know, with the cute becoming her t-shirt and all of that. You know what? Let me say it so that we can have a proper conversation. I know what I want to talk about, but I don't want it to be too structured. Because the reality of this whole content creation thing and fulfilling assignment is sometimes you don't know what you're doing. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes you show up in spite of yourself. I don't know if I've mentioned the date already, but it's August 29. And I just came back from a 9-hour shift and have a meeting at 8 a.m. So I'm hoping that I can record everything before it's 8 a.m. I'm in a season of my life where I want to set up systems that would capture the essence of who I am or what I believe that God has called me to do. But sometimes, man, it's overwhelming. I feel like I can see the end from, no, I can't see the end from the beginning, right? I'm not Alpha and Omega, but I see the bigger picture. But sometimes it feels like the little steps I'm taking don't count. Yeah. I'm tempted to think that if I partner with people, it's going to be easier. But the truth is, when you're building, you need to know who you partner with. And as I journey through life, you don't partner with someone just because, you know, you share the same passion or because, you know, you share a friendship. I think that there has to be more. I think you have to study value systems. What is it that is very important to them? And does it align with yours? I think that you have to study work ethics. I think that when you're building, you need to work with people who are afraid to lose something or who have something to lose. Is that what they say? You have something to lose. People who have something to lose, they function a little bit differently. Before even looking at the outside, can I really accommodate a partnership? Have I built up capacity, or have I built capacity to accommodate the partnership? It's easier to think that another person can come and frustrate the vision, or another person could maybe feel intimidated by what you're doing. But what about me? Would I? Do I have what it takes to sustain a partnership? I know what God has called me to do. I'm even more convinced right now. But like I said, I feel like I'm not. I feel like I get it, but there's a lot that is wrapped up in my mind. There's a lot. In the last video, I said I was going to talk about building structures that last, and it came from a place. As compared to what I'm supposed to do, I feel like I'm so late. Please, this is not the moment where we say, no, you're not late. I honestly, I said this is unfiltered. So I sometimes feel like I'm late. And that's something I constantly have to struggle with. I have to battle that thought. I have to encourage myself. I have to tell myself that, you know what, you're not late and there's a lot that can happen in 1 year. But what if a lot doesn't happen in 1 year? What if it's another season of God trying to develop character? So funny. Let me get my lip balm. The AC is on, my lips feel dry. No matter what you're going through in life, don't have crusty lips. Don't give your enemies a reason to mock you. I think that sometimes people start mocking you with it, like if you have crusty lips. I feel late. I feel confused sometimes. Not aware and confused. It's so, if you can relate to this, please just let me know in the comment section. But building structures that last. If I show you what God showed me last year, you understand why I have to go back to back. I have to be more intentional. It has to be non-stop for me. And maybe by the time I share with you the experience, you say, well, it's not that, it doesn't sound that serious, but I know what I saw, right? I'm going to tell you a story, but I cannot communicate the feeling I got. I cannot communicate the emotions, but man, this is another chance. And it was a painful, it was a wake-up call. Now, I had this experience one time where there's this man of God I was following. You know, it's a young man, he's not popular. Well, at the time he wasn't. I was 2 years ago, yeah, he wasn't that popular. And, you know, follow his ministry, he's, you know, great intercessor, great teacher of the word. He was going to go to the church of family, right? Hello. I was going to go minister in this church that I know, the family. And I just kept wishing, oh my God, this is somebody you watch on a random platform and they're going to people you know in real life. So I desired to be a part of that meeting. And as God will have it, this meeting is taking place in the US. At the same time that these people were having a meeting, I go to deep sleep in my room, my living room at the time, and I see the young people in the living room, and we're interceding, and this man of God gives me a prophetic word. Everything that he told me came to pass within 2 weeks, and I'm still living a part of that experience. Imagine me having something like that because I desired and I was so connected, right? And that marked the beginning of that kind of encounter with Christian youth or with a man of God, a pastor. Well, I think it's more of an office than a person's face. So I have these young people come and, you know, have these things. It's happened maybe 3 or 4 times, and everything that I've had from that encounter, everything I've seen has come to pass. But this one day, this particular day, again in my dream, there was this public figure that I would say I shouldn't really be with, right? It's a lady. She was there. I was in that room, but I remember being quite absent-minded. However, I was entertaining her and the people around her. While I was entertaining her, I stepped out of the living room and I went to the balcony, and I saw a disaster coming my way. I saw a flood. It was just like everything Now, for those of us who live in Manila, you understand the rainy season here, you understand the earthquakes, you understand the typhoon, you understand the flooding. It was that kind of thing coming my way. And guess what was happening? I saw the roof of the walls of my house peeling off. I was going to stumble. The foundation was amazing. As a matter of fact, at the time I used to live at the 47th floor. So instead of me seeing like 46th, 45th, 44th, 43rd, I saw concrete. Like everything right up was just concrete. But the walls of that building of my house falling off. And I saw the roof just almost flying. And I rushed back in and I went back. I saw it coming again. And when I turned back in, I saw the tallest person I've ever seen, both on social media, TV, and in real life. And I know that the height here is relative, right? Because if you've not seen me in real life, I really need to come up here. May the Lord give you understanding. But I saw the tallest person, and he had a priestly garment. One of these Jewish looking guys. I know we're going to say an angel. I'm sharing this story as I saw it. No, it's not. It's a real life thing. I'm telling you my experience. He looked at me, cleared everything in that house, like everything. And immediately the room began to look like the place where I had fully committed to serving God. Yes, I was a Christian. Yes, I knew that God was calling me to the music ministry, but I had not fully surrendered. I felt like I needed to have money first before coming to do ministry, just so that I'm not going to say yes out of hunger. I'm not going to say yes because I need an envelope. But again, I was beginning to focus more on the king side than the priest side of me, and so God had to redirect me. So yeah, in that room is where I told God, you know, I surrender. Is that a worldly song? Is that a worldly song or a secular song? What's the difference? Anyway, hey God, this should be the second time I'll be asking this question. But in that room I surrendered, and so my room began to look like that place where I had surrendered. And on the table, he put three things. He put a map, a globe. He put a globe, right? He put a Bible, and he put a journal. Pulled out the chair. And without saying anything, I knew I had to sit. And again, without saying anything, what was communicated to me was start again. I woke up. Didn't really have time to process it. And in the course of working, it came to me vividly, and I started weeping. Why? There's this verse I'm going to put on the screen, right? But the meaning of that verse: the rain comes to test your roof, the wind comes to test your structure, and the flood comes to test your foundation. The rain comes to test your shelter, the wind comes to test your structure, and the flood comes to test your foundation. Foundation was solid. I'm rooted in Christ now. Haba, come on. But the structures that I put in place could not resist the days and the years to come. A lot of activities, but there is really nothing that I could look at and present to God like, this is what I've done with the talents He gave me. Shameful. And I started crying and said, God, thank you for showing me mercy. Thank you for being merciful. Thank you for calling my attention. I was just crying and crying and crying. One thing I love about the mercy of God is that He chastises you and then He leads you. I've experienced God's love in so many ways, one of them being Him giving me structure. Sometimes God's love is shown in Him giving you structure or restructuring your life. Is that it? I'm not trying to sound deep, but I'm really just trying to I'm not trying to sound deep or say something mysterious, but I'm trying to understand what that was for me, and I'm trying to capture all of that in words and communicate it to you. But that's what is at the back of my mind. And so if you can make something out of what I've just said, please type and put in the comment section. A lot of things happened. Started looking at media. That was the first attention. That's the first place my attention went to. I'm not just following the trend of being a content creator. I'm called to the media space. I have a dream for media, carefully written down. As a matter of fact, if you wake me up in the middle of the night, if an investor should wake me up in the middle of the night, I will give you a clear plan for media. I have the name of the TV. I have 7 shows written down, and I wrote all of those things in 15 minutes. Yep, it's in the phone I'm using to record this video. But I was not building any community. This is a TV, okay, what am I doing to get to that place? Nothing. Today, my content is this, tomorrow is, there's no structure to what I'm doing on social media. Yes, everybody knows that I love skincare. Yes, I can show up and encourage somebody, okay, but it's still random. Like, why should people listen to you? I was guilty, I was guilty, it was in the past now, of compromising the form of my content. Now the content was there, the message I want to pass across is there, but I compromised on the form because I was following trends. I was trying to do what works for an algorithm, and I was trying to follow people's attention span. You know, people don't really like if people on this platform don't really like when you make long form content, then go to the platform that that receives long form content, instead of compromising on your content to suit a platform. It's a good thing to tweak things here and there. It's very important to I'll say when there's a trend, right, pick out the good thing, but pick out the good things, but don't lose yourself, and don't lose yourself. Don't be so caught up in a trend that you let go of, or you lost sight of. This is grammar for me. You lose sight of. Hey God, hey God, I should read more often. You lose sight of what God is calling you to do and how He wants you to do what He's calling you to do. I lost that. It's terrible, painful. Why was I not consistent in the way that He told me? Why was I not doing what He told me to do on Instagram the way He told me to do it? Why was I looking at other people's content and trying to adjust? Hey, even with this whole skincare that I really like, what am I embracing? Like, what system have I put in place, right, that people can make reference to? What? Nothing. And I look at music, I can understand the side of music. Honestly, let me not be too hard on myself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. However, I think that there is more that I can do. It's in that season that I understood that I'm not just called to feature on platforms. I'm not called to support platforms. The Lord is calling me to build platforms. If I'm a builder, I cannot operate as like someone who is called to support. I'm wasting my time. I'm going to be applauded by men, but I'm going to get a film back from God. I'm going to get a film back from God, basically. So how come someone who is called to build platforms is so comfortable doing the barest minimum when there are people waiting for me? No structure. So whatever flood, wind is coming, rain, will damage whatever I was doing. I'm saying words because all that is behind me. Amen. Amen. I'm also saying was because I'm like I said, I'm really trying to build. It's confusing, it's overwhelming, I feel lost sometimes, but I never want to be rebuked again. I want the Lord to perfect what I'm doing, to add, to give more ideas, right? But not to say, okay, let's start again. Now, I hope I'm making sense. I think I am. You may think you have nothing to offer. Start documenting, then you realize that you actually have a lot to offer. If you're a writer, instead of writing on your WhatsApp status where it's going to disappear for 24 hours, or writing on IG stories, Facebook stories, TikTok stories where it's going to disappear for 24 hours, how about you write on your notes app in your phone? If you still want to do paper and pen, how about you get a book, journal, and write? How about you tell yourself that you're going to write your random ideas in an ebook? Don't always think about selling and marketing, but just say you want to look at something that can remind you of who you are. How about that? This is something I learned from, I'm going to call her name one more time. Maybe this will be the last time I call her name, Apostle EC. The first time I watched her interview, okay, this will not be the last time I'll call her name, because there's also something else. But the first time I watched her, I was so eager to go on Instagram and just follow and read and go scroll through content. I expected this apostle to be like my regular Christian influencer. You know how we're always talking, we always have something to say. Anything happens and we'll pull up our mic. The Lord is really saying, we speak with so much audacity in our voices. Meanwhile, we've not gained authority in the realm of the spirit, and we are not discipled by anybody, so we're just talking. It's just the hard truth, let's be honest. That's why our words have no weight. We just say things and then there's no transformation. The only thing we get, views, viral moments, likes, comments. Oh my God, this is so powerful. Okay, then what? No transformation. But that's besides the point. I went and I was looking and I didn't see anything. And then I went to her bio and I went to the link in her bio. School of this, school of this, school of this, school of this. Then I understood that there is wisdom in making people earn what you know. There's wisdom. There's wisdom in allowing people, I wouldn't say fight to get access, but treat everything that you carry with so much value because of the structure that you've put in place. It would have been easy, very easy for her to just give us everything in the caption, right, on Instagram. That is when it hit me that, Hanan, you're really wasting. You're wasting. Yeah. I'm sharing my story, but what about you? Are you wasting? You're a singer. How many songs have you put out? Maybe you don't have money. Let me know. But how many people know at least a song that you've written? Are you still waiting for the big moment? You're a writer. Okay, who knows? Well, what's the proof? I don't want to say who knows, because I think that it takes us back to that place where you need to applaud the Bible or whatever, but like, what's the proof that you're a writer? You're an amazing chef, right? What's the proof? And I don't really think that your skills should be appreciated only by your friends. Would that not be the definition of a city bill on the hill that is hidden, or a lampstand that is put under a bowl? If only your friends know you or can see what you do, then I think that you're literally the lampstand that has been put under the table. That's not the goal. We're ambassadors of Christ. We're here to represent God. So we cannot always stay hidden. We should not stay hidden. I mean, of course, there's a time when God, but I'm talking about you hiding and blaming it on God. 10 years, 10, 15, 20 years from now, what will you look back at? Honestly speaking, what is it that you have to restructure? Sometimes it starts with the physical appearance, huh? It does. Just who do you want to be in the future? Do you dress like the person who wants to be this person in the future? Man, I have to start paying attention to that as well. What are you wearing? Madam, what are you wearing? What do I really want to look like? What impression do I want to put out there when I step out? What colors do I want to incorporate in my look? Yes, even with skincare and makeup and beauty, what kind of looks do I want to go for? You know, the way I smell. There's a difference between you always smell good and you smell good. The goal for me right now is you always smell good, not you smell good today or you smell nice. No, you always smell nice. That's the plan. We're getting there, amen. But just little things like that, the mental work. What investments am I going to make in people's lives? If I come in contact with somebody, what can they say about me? What impact will I leave? I'm not perfect. I'm very flawed, but I'm not a bad person, but I'm very flawed. I'm very flawed. If I meet 10 people and 8 of them have to heal from me, there's a problem. Wait, scratch that. Let's take it again. If I meet 10 people and 6 of them have to heal from me, that's a problem. Okay, it's not always people are, no, look at, I need to look right here. I need to hold myself accountable. Man, building is never easy. Never. It is good. And I want you to think of it. Live a little bit more intentionally. Yes, we're a product of God's grace and His mercy. But God expects a lot from you, especially when He hands you talents. Hold on. Let me drink water. I had this here because I felt like I was going to get tested at some point. And here, I want to look at my note. I feel like there's something I missed. I said, I'm convinced that we are a product of God's grace and mercy. I know that God has the final say over our lives. Interestingly, many people use this as an excuse to live a little more carelessly than they should. However, God does not like waste. He wants you to be a good steward of the gifts, talents, and skills He has entrusted you with, not forgetting the people He has placed on your path as you journey through life. Therefore, what are the structures you have put in place to sustain the next phase of your life? What? Maybe it's time to define your relationships. Maybe that's a part of your life that needs restructuring. Defining your relationships. Very important. The thing is, we keep treating our friends as if they're all the same. Now, I don't mean equal, but I mean like the role they play, right? Compartmentalize your friends. A colleague is a colleague. A classmate is a classmate. A neighbor is a neighbor. A friend is a friend. An intimate friend is an intimate friend. Even with friendship, right? You need to use your tabernacle of worship. Entrance or outer, entrance or outer court, inner court, holy of holies. Friendships are in different stages and different levels. Let's not pretend about it. The thing for me is, sometimes we give outer core energy to entrance gate people. So say you're giving intimate friendship energy to an acquaintance and they don't even know what to do with that. They don't even know how to appreciate that. And so you feel burnt out, you feel exhausted, you feel like friendships are not worth it, but it's because you're pouring into the wrong vessels. Acquaintances don't even know how to pour into you like that. And if you say, well, not every acquaintance is the same, then you need to know how to promote people in your friendships. If there's someone you're neglecting around, then you want to say, oh, okay, maybe I haven't paid attention here. Some of the best form of friendships come from the areas that you're going to neglect. To be very honest, To be honest, we are so attached to people because of longevity, right? Long term. I've known this person for 100 years now. Okay, nice. So what's the fruit of this 100 years of friendship? Nothing. It doesn't mean cut off, don't talk to this person anymore, but it means you need to realign, you need to think, you need to address certain things, you need to bring order in your life. You have to. So here I am talking about structures in the most casual, relaxed way, and I love this. Like I said, I was going to wear the t-shirt, I was going to sit, I was going to sit up, I was going to speak. I didn't feel like it, yet I wanted to share on that. This is the second time I'm recording this topic, but I love this version I'm going to put out. I like it. The first time I recorded, I don't know if I was nervous. Of course, I'm getting comfortable I'm trying to get comfortable. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to do long form content, right? And I love the journey. I'm enjoying the journey so far. But the first one, I think that there were a few things I missed. Or wait, see, when you batch create, right? I'm telling you, don't do like 8 videos, because sooner or later you will start over analyzing and you delete and you think that you have to redo. Of course, there's always something to improve on, but that's my experience. You know how you take a picture and you think that the picture looks so beautiful. The first time you look at it, it's nice, amazing. Second time, oh, gorgeous, perfect. The third time, you start asking yourself, why is my nose big? Why did I put my face like that? Why did I smile that way? The fourth time, you just want to, if you've posted the picture, you want to delete it. If you've not posted, you will never post again. I think that's what's happening with like the whole batch creating thing. On the next video, I want to talk about emotional healing. 4 uncomfortable truths about emotional healing. Interesting. But before I go, I'm going to read this last thing that I wrote, which I was going to say from my head, but this is a different format of recording this video, and so I'm so comfortable reading it out, so you are supposed to saying it from my head. Pay attention to you now. This is a wake-up call for you. You think you have nothing to offer because you have not spent enough time with yourself, and you don't choose the right people to interact with. You are a product of who you listen to. On the other hand, you are blinded to your values because there's no system put in place to capture the essence of who you are. That's it. I'm going to end this video here. I don't know the proper way to say bye, see you next time, but I love that I did this. And it is almost 8. Is this thing correct? It is almost 8 a.m. and I have to go for my meeting right now. It's actually a very interesting meeting. I want to share that as well. But now the problem is, I'm going to have the meeting on this phone. I don't have another phone to record. So, unfortunately, I'll only tell the story. I will not show the process. I'll only tell the story. But time is coming where I will be able to do that. I hope that you liked this video. If you like this style of me sharing content, just let me know. I think I like it too, but it's not always going to be like this. I can't promise, to be honest. I'm still going to wear my makeup. I'm still going to sit down, and I'm still going to wear my t-shirt, and I'm still going to... Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to do amazing things on this channel. I'm positive about it. I'm ready to invest emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially. I'm ready to put in the work. Thank you again. God bless you. Until next time.